You can tell a huge amount about a country by the state of its airport. In fact, a day spent here in Dublin Airport probably tells you more about Ireland than any highfalutin economic or political lecture. Now just think about it, 21 million people use this airport every year. That's 5 times our population. So if anybody doubted that we are a globalised tribe, just check out this figure. We've always tried to transcend the limitations of geography. We are a transit nation. The airport is our 21st century hub, which launches upon the world a new Irish nation of property-obsessed, weekend-away global shoppers. In contrast, the hard-working immigrants who are arriving here at a rate of 14,000 a month are keen to make it in our new world. They are simply doing what Irish people did for centuries, leaving home in search of a better life. One of the biggest challenges facing us is how do we deal with this mass movement of people? This could well prove to be a cultural, economic and political fault line for us in the years ahead. So it is here, in this 21st century version of Ellis Island, that we begin our journey. Years ago, being an air hostess was the swankiest job a girl could have. But now, in an era of half-an-hour turnarounds, stag nights and €1 promotional fares, all that has changed.
The boys watch the girls while the girls watch the boys who watch the girls go by. Eye to eye.
Like the country, the airport, in all its chaos, is struggling to deal with the realities of the new Ireland. And the status of an Aer Lingus air hostess is a perfect barometer of this social transformation.
Each girl is made to understand that a passenger's opinion of the airline will depend almost entirely on her while he's flying.
Back then, flying, it was for the rich and famous, it was for the businessman, and then it was for the American tourist who were coming here in their droves.
Joan, tell me, what went through your mind when, in 1977, you got the letter saying you've been accepted into Aer Lingus as an air hostess?
Just couldn't believe it. That job, up to that, it was strictly for, well, the doctor's daughter, the elite. And all of a sudden now, there was a chance for someone like myself, middle-class background, to get into the job that was most sought after. We had to go through a process, a quite intense process, to get to that point of being accepted. And then, as you gained your experience, you gradually moved up the aircraft, and all of us, the big thing was to work in first class. Everything was silver service, Waterford glass, bone china, and you actually plated everything in front of the passenger. And I can remember praying my first time doing it and saying, please God, they don't want the caviar and the blinny, because that was an art form. Getting that caviar onto that blinny, the chopped egg, the onion and everything. And you know, passengers had nothing else to look at, so all they did was look at you.
Eye to eye, they solemnly convene to make the scene.
While the airport was once the home of the elite, today it is the last truly democratic stage in the country. Everyone is here. Flying used to be the privilege of the sophisticated few, but today it's about as glamorous as Jade Goody. Like the rest of our clogged-up country, the airport is bursting at the seams, barely able to cope with the reality of the economic boom.
Since I've been working here since 1984, there were 2.5 million passengers going through the airport then, and here we are now in 2007 with almost 24 million passengers expected to use the airport this year. Huge change in the airport over that period of time. We've over 50 airlines flying to more than 180 destinations, and I suppose the Eastern European countries have really opened up hugely. Last year in 2006, for example, we had the busiest year ever at Dublin Airport. There were over 2.7 million additional passengers going to the airport. Now, if you put that in context, that's more than half of the entire island of Ireland travelling to the airport in additional passengers. Quite phenomenal growth.
The place is full of immigrants. The numbers are startling. In 2005, 140,000 Poles entered the country via the airport. Last year, that figure jumped to 580,000. Up to now, we've been happy for them to come in and do the work that we don't want to do. But as the economy slows, all that might change.
I'm in the airline business now nearly 7 years, and we do shift work here. It's an extremely busy place, so it is, and the shifts could start off from anything from 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, all different shifts all day, even sometimes in at 2 in the morning, and you could be flat out now up to 12, 1 o'clock in the day. There's a lot of foreign people here now, and good people like Polish and all that as well. Don't know why, sadly, not too many Irish now are going for these jobs. I don't know why, whether it's the shift work or what it is. Like in this business, you have to be able to get up early in the morning and come in with a clear head on you, because like it's an exciting place to work, but it's also can be very dangerous as well.
From Slovakia, and to Ireland I came 3 years ago. Get some language, earn some money, and for strong men who want something more and more, get opportunities, get chance. Here get job and earn money is easy, and then save money. It's much easier. In Eastern European countries it's not possible because your wage slip may cover your bills, your flat, and really you have to save too much money. I can enjoy life here. I may travel. I can buy anything what I want. Maybe later on, but it will be really later on. I wanna back to Slovakia anyway, but for this moment it's not one reason.
Globalization and the movement of people in and out of the country has profound ramifications for Irish politics. In our strange new world, this man, an immigrant himself and the descendant of Lithuanian Jews, has had more impact on the Irish workplace than any recent initiative from Leinster House. Bernard Berger, Ryanair's route planner, takes decisions which will affect the lives of thousands. When he finds a new route for Ryanair, you can be sure that immigrants will arrive the next day, changing the face of modern Ireland.
One should not forget the role of aviation, and particularly low-cost aviation, in ensuring a healthy economic future for Europe. I would certainly think that Ryanair, if anything, has really been the spirit of European economic and social integration. We brought together people, businesses, opportunities right across Europe in a way that nobody else has succeeded in doing. In Lithuania, we identified the airport of the second city of Lithuania, which is Kaunas. But now we link Lithuania with a number of points across Europe. We have a very successful flight, for example, here from Kaunas to Dublin. Furthermore, in the personal sense, we're talking about the whole subject of immigration. My grandmother left Kaunas at the age of 4. So personally, to be able to go back to this city was like a completion of a cycle. So that was a very nice personal experience, aside from the business aspect of operating to that city.
If you want to see how small the world has become, all you've got to do is grab a cheap flight to Central Europe. Ireland's labour force no longer ends in Holyhead, but stretches as far as the borders of Russia. Every time a vacancy is announced in Ireland, a text is received in the Baltics, and someone heads off to make their new life. Lithuania is a very small country, only 3.5 million people, but it's dominated by the tyranny of geography. Russia invaded the country and ruled it for about a century. Germany invaded the country in the Second World War. And Poland has always tried to meddle in affairs in this part of the world. Now that the EU has taken Lithuania in about 4 years ago, it has an added problem. The people are now expectant, but the economy can't deliver. And worse still, you have a revolving door where Lithuanians can now emigrate in large numbers. So thousands of Lithuanians are leaving every year, and this makes the economy weaker. And as the economy gets weaker, even more Lithuanians leave yet again. And you end up in the bizarre situation where 1% of all people living in Ireland today are from this place here, Lithuania.
Я на российском языке только могу дать информацию.
Julia, like 30,000 other young people from Lithuania, is leaving to work abroad this year. She has just finished college and is joining her brother, who has been living in Galway for the past 4 years. She is impatient with the pace of change and feels that she will be ancient by the time her country recovers from years of communism, so she's not hanging around. Lithuania now is very like Ireland 20 years ago. You're leaving, your brother's leaving, a lot of your friends are leaving. What's it like for your mother's generation who are left here?
My mother is really sad about us going, but she just thinks that we would bring much experience and much of things, so we would know much more than we know now.
Her mother has just come up from the country to help her pack and attend her graduation. Julia's exotic looks come from her father, a Muslim from Kazakhstan. She's the classic product of the melting pot that was the Soviet Union. We have now, I think it's 48, it could be 50,000 Lithuanians in Ireland, which is a lot from a small country like this.
Maybe it's hard over here because it hasn't been a long time that we came from Russia and stuff, and we still have that Russian stuff over here. The old people always talk about Russia being good, influence on us.
And when you look at the European Union, what do you see? What do you hope for?
They're not afraid to try new things. Over here, we like to have stable. We like to have an apartment, a dog, a cat, like 3 children in a row, and have a stable work. Over there, like people change their work from time to time, and they bring something new, and that brings them lots of knowledge, experience, and stuff.
And what's the average wage here in Lithuania?
Like average is like 1,000 or 1,200
Liters per month.
Yeah, per month.
And that's about 300 euros.
Yes.
With wages like this, it's not surprising that so many are on the move. And like Ireland in the 1950s and 60s, the cash the exiles sent home is keeping this country afloat. It is difficult to see how this movement of people is going to stop. With the minimum wage in Lithuania lower than child benefit in Ireland, never before has a political project tried to open borders between countries of such different income levels. We are in uncharted waters. This reminds me of my own graduation in the late 1980s, when Ireland too experienced what Lithuania is experiencing now, a massive, massive brain drain of students leaving the country almost the day after we graduated. These people too all intend, it seems, to leave Lithuania in the next couple of weeks. Now for Ireland, this is a monumental opportunity. Their loss is our gain, and what we've got to do is figure out a way of harnessing these people, cultivating their talents and keeping them in Ireland once they arrive. This is probably the last great free lunch the Irish economy will ever get. The story of immigrants is that although they start off at the bottom, hard work and ambition drives them forward. So while people like Julia are happy serving us for now, in a few years' time, it could be an entirely different story. Magda has a sociology degree from Poland. She has heard about a job in a coffee shop in Dún Laoghaire through her friend Aga, who has been here for 7 months.
Since we opened in April 2004, we have had probably more than 150 people work here. It's a very transitory type of work. And while we've had a broad, eclectic mixture, I've noticed over the last 2 years that a large portion are coming from Eastern Europe.
My first job was in O'Brien's in Steel Organ, 3 months. And then I decided if I want to stay here longer, I would like to do something with this time. And in 2 days, I got this phone call from Natalie, and she told me, Aga, can you come for trial? And I come first day, and then she asked me 2 hours, and then she asked me another day to come, and I stay.
At the beginning, I would think it was maybe 20% Polish and 80% Irish. It's probably about 60% Polish and 40% Irish.
The first time when I came to Harris, there was just 2 more Polish people. It was Magda and Peter. So now there is Magda, she's already in the kitchen, Aneta. There is 2 brothers and Aga. There is myself, another Eva. We have Red Kasia and we have Black Kasia. We call them by nicknames. Veronika, she's from Czech. We have Inessa from Lithuania. We still have Italian girl. We have Irish guy in the kitchen, his name is Luke.
I'm blown away by their education levels, how capable they are at integrating. Their knowledge of English is superb.
Working here as a waiter, I'm earning like 4 times more than I would be working as a physio full-time in Poland.
What they can earn here in a week is what you earn in a month over there. That's the simple mathematics. And some of them are here for quite the long haul to try and build some investment.
Interestingly, the public sector is the only area that has remained immune from the competition of immigrants. Only 1% of the public sector workforce is foreign-born, as opposed to 1 in 6 in construction and close to half in tourism. Now, this may be the result of powerful trade unionists, who, although they speak the language of international solidarity, are damned if they're going to let thousands of immigrants drive down their wages. The airport's outdated infrastructure is a microcosm of our own shambolic transport network. Like the clogged M50, at Dublin Airport there are simply too many planes and not enough space. So up in the pod, the deficiencies of the Irish state are bailed out by the flexibility, patience and good humour of Irish workers.
Basically what we do is we allocate stands for the aircraft to park on. And we monitor delays and arrival times to ensure that there's at least 10-minute gap between each aircraft and from its departure and its arrival. I'm just dealing with current issues at the moment, and an aircraft has landed for a stand which is occupied at the moment, so I'm just onto the handler to ensure that the aircraft is going to go on time. The day is more or less planned. We just monitor it and make changes according to delays and issues that arise during the day.
Each airline has a different colour, so that represents where we park them, and it also depends on the size of their aircraft. So each stand doesn't necessarily fit the same aircraft, so that's really what we're, as Fiona said, playing chess.
Doreen, Fiona again. Your 532 is ready to go, isn't it? On 11 Alpha.
A lot of the time, as I say, if it's extremely busy, you will certainly feel the pressure when you go home and you say, thank God I'm out of there now. But most of the time, it's nice that you don't have any carryover work, which is great, because we come in, we do our shift there, we work a 24-hour shift.
As Adrian says, you do leave it behind. The next day is always a new day. There's nothing that carries over as such. I've got the best job in the world. I get paid to do what the people on the side of the runway do on a Sunday afternoon.
While Fiona is working away upstairs, ensuring that the incidents of air rage are miraculously kept to a minimum, 5 stories down below, the rest of us are doing what we do best, blowing borrowed cash on essential items like lipstick. The extraordinary excesses of the Irish consumer is captured by the Dublin Airport Big Mac Index. The tiny cosmetic shop is the 6th busiest Mac shop in the world. And this index includes mega outlets in Fifth Avenue, Bond Street, Milan and Hong Kong. The Irish girls are piling on the slap, no matter what the cost.
I think that the Irish have really turned out to be shopaholics, really. They love their brands, they love their clothes, and I think they see MAC Cosmetics as another accessory, if you like. You know, makeup is the finishing touch to a fantastic outfit. And literally from 9 o'clock in the morning to when that door shuts, you are serving 5 people at a time. It's so crazy. Anyone from 16-year-olds to 6-year-olds love MAC, as it's all sexes, all races, all ages.
I think women are consumers. I think especially in modern Ireland, women are huge consumers. A luxury good is a luxury good, and whether you're 20 or whether you're 60, a Dior handbag or a Tag Heuer watch or a beautiful piece of Estée Lauder makeup or something will appeal to the woman as opposed to the woman of a certain age.